I'm Larry Taylor, partner with the Cochran firm. The Cochran firm and Radio 1 are proud to present the Barbershop series. The Barbershop is our community's meeting place. It's where everyone, regardless of education, regardless of status, where we're all equals and we're able to discuss our feelings, our point of views, and discuss topics that are affecting us. The Barbershop series is a continuation of those discussions, talking about relevant topics that affect our community, bringing forth information that will help those who listen or see it make informed decisions that will assist them. When Johnny started this firm, it was built off the premise that it would be a guiding light for justice for our communities. We at the Cochran firm wish to continue his legacy in being that beacon of light and helping provide justice for our communities. The Cochran firm was founded by Johnny Cochran more than 40 years ago. While Johnny became nationally recognized for high-profile cases such as the O.J. Simpson trial and representing artists such as Tupac Shakur, Puff Daddy, and Snoop Dogg, it was his dedication for justice for everyday Americans that endeared him to many Americans. It was this same drive that made this firm what it is today. It is an honor to be part of this law firm, to continue the legacy of Johnny Cochran and making sure that justice is provided for the least and for those in our community. Today on the Barbershop series, we'll be talking about hazards of the road, what you should do if you're ever in a car accident. We hope that this information is helpful to you and those in your household. Join us today on the Barbershop series. All right, let's change topics. Looking at our roads, talking about traffic accidents, texting and driving. James, what do you think about that?
Well, I think as far as texting and driving, obviously that is very dangerous. If people knew, as far as maybe even when it rains, the most dangerous time when it rains is when it first rains, the first maybe 20 minutes, because the oils from the ground and the water is mixing, and that's when you slide. So for that concern, that could probably save a lot of lives right there. But as far as when you're trying to text, if you're talking on the phone, I think that's probably okay because you're looking at the road while you're driving. But texting, just that split second, looking down, you could cause a life-changing event. So I think texting and driving needs to be fined harshly to change, to save lives.
Well, I drive trucks for a living, and we're not allowed to hold the device at all when we drive. I mean, they see you holding the phone while you're driving, that's an automatic ticket right there. You know what I'm saying? As far as texting, you really can't, there's no way you can react fast. No, we do it. I mean, I know I do it. I don't say we. I'm not going to, incriminate nobody else, but I do it. I'm guilty. But realistically, if something happens, there's no way, and I mean, I've been trained for that, there's no way you can react faster than what's happening right in front of you. It's not possible. It's not.
So in some places, texting and driving is against the law. Here, I don't believe it is. It's only like certain places in school zones, I believe.
School zones, certain designated communities, neighborhoods,
Right.
And that's only usually during certain periods of the day,
Right.
during school hours and not necessarily during weekends.
Like some cities here, like Arlington, has a city ordinance against texting and driving and that kind of thing, but it's nothing against the state law at this point. It's other than the school zone.
Do you guys think it should be a state law?
I think it should be, but I don't think it'll stop people from doing it. Yeah, it should. It's just like window tint. Like, it's just against the law, but people still gonna do it. Yeah, it's just another law that
I know
be
it's
broken.
wrong. It's wrong to text and drive. Have I done it? Yes. But I feel like that is it's a small infraction, but it could have huge consequences. So it's kind of a gray area for me, because yes, you can be texting and driving and getting an accident and kill yourself and all these people, but at the same time, you could be texting and driving and then, have a ticket and possibly go to jail for texting and driving. So it's kind of like, why are you in jail for texting and driving? Why my tax dollars going to somebody to go to court to handle this situation? This is so minute when all these people are raping kids and killing people.
And Jazzy,
That's why it's a gray area for me.
that's a valid point, but we were talking earlier. Every 6 seconds, someone is reporting a traffic accident. Every 14 seconds, someone is injured in a car wreck. Every 16 minutes, someone dies in a car wreck. And while the Department of Transportation has said statistically, since these laws have come in place, there have been less fatalities. These are things, especially as an attorney, dealing with families who have had to deal with individuals who have been killed behind someone texting and driving. And there are organizations, numerous organizations, founded by individuals who have lost loved ones because of the exact same thing. I'm of the viewpoint that even if it's a minor inconvenience for me, if it can save someone's life, it's well worth that waiting. It's a lot of things that you have to do. Texting and driving and talking on the phone without a hands-free device is not one of them.
I agree. I can't fight you on that one.
It's true, but they've made your phone such a part of your life now that even if it ain't texting, it's music, it's so many other things that'll distract you right along with texting. 'Cause I got pretty much all my music come off an app on my phone, so you picking it up doing certain stuff, and it's not even just texting alone. It's your phone actually.
So, we really focus on texting and driving because that's where most of the accidents come from a text message or something. But it's really distracted driving.
That's right, yeah. I was going to say, I could be putting on makeup or, a baby could be in the bag. Oh, be quiet, I hear your bottle. Anything can distract you and cause an accident. But I do understand that texting and driving, I don't think it's right. But at the same time, it would be a lot of money and a lot of laws and a lot of just to get it taken care of, when I just think that it is a big issue, but I just think that the other things are more important.
Now, let me put it to you like this. For every ticket that's given out, there's a fine. So there's the possibility of those dollars that you said that are being spent being recouped. However, someone who doesn't have insurance, who's driving, texting, and driving, that family of the person who got killed could be eligible for compensation paid through the state for burial and things of that nature. Wow. And so that money isn't recouped. So when it comes to the dollar and cents of it, number one, a life is always going to be worth more than any dollar amount we can attach to it. And two, if it comes down to a ticket and a fatality based on distracted driving, we can get our money back off of a ticket. We're not going to get a life back or the dollars back given to that family because of that accident. And so, has anyone in here been in an accident before?
Yes, sir.
So what was the, I like this question because this comes into the household or the cousin who's an attorney who never went to law school and they kind of tell you how to do things. So what's the first thing you do when you got into a car accident?
The first thing I did was I stopped and tried to make sure that, I was reasonably okay. That's the first thing I did. The next thing I actually did was, I looked around me to try to see if I could determine who, because the lady ran into me. I was sitting at a stoplight, about to get on I-67 off Beltline, and out of nowhere, I just boom, I get my vehicle hit, I bounce up into the ceiling. And so those are the first couple of things I did. The next thing I did was pulled over and into the gas station, the Shell station over there. I dialed 911 to call, the police, and she drove up behind me and was, apologizing. I'm really sorry. This is totally my fault. And I didn't mean it in a way that perhaps it might have been taken as sarcasm or something. I looked out my window and said, I know, you're right, it was your fault. And she said, are you really calling the police? I said, I really am, yeah. And so I called the cops, and after the exchange on the phone, I got out to assess damages to the vehicle. Made sure I could stand up first because I held on to the door. And I assessed damages that were on my vehicle and looked at hers. and waited for the police.
And did the police show?
Yeah.
And that's important because in some cities, in some counties, some areas, law enforcement won't come out unless someone is injured or there's a fatality.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they told me. They said when they got there, they said, well, you know, you could go ahead and exchange.
There's
insurance.
a crash report that we call it in the field that must go into the state if damage is $1,000 or more. If it's $1,000 or less, drivers can exchange insurance information and contact information, and that could be submitted through that way, or what we call as a blue form. It's just on a blue piece of paper, but they collect information and you send that in to the state to record the accident. So, but you always, if you don't necessarily feel comfortable, you can always call for an officer to come.
And not just that, but calling 911 preserves a record, even a police officer doesn't come out,
Right.
that you made a call
Exactly.
and that something happened. And that if you ever get into a he say, she say, you at least have that documentation that something stressful or something interaction happened at the date and time that you said it happened. The other thing that you want to do, you did correctly, assess what's going on, make sure you're okay, make sure all parties are okay. Making sure that if there's any witnesses, that you get their information. Because if it comes down to he say, she say, because many times people change their tune.
I was just gonna say,
Absolutely,
one thing
yeah.
that she did that most people don't do, and that they tell you not to do, is admit whether you was at fault.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to do this.
Because insurance,
You know, they don't.
you're right, because insurance companies,
Oh.
their goal is not necessarily your goal.
They are so dirty. Oh my goodness.
And so a lot of times they might very well look for anything that you might have done to contribute to that accident. And so you want to be careful, and that's why before you do any kind of recorded statement, you should have an attorney.
Sure.
And a lot of at-home attorneys that we just talked about, I just mentioned, will tell you, look, you don't need a lawyer to assist you. If you feel you need a lawyer, get a lawyer. We're not here to just take anybody who comes and take your money. We're here to make sure that justice is served for you in your interest. And you wouldn't necessarily jump into a career field that you unfamiliar with. You wouldn't go tomorrow and try to be a rocket scientist and send the space shuttle up. And I'm not saying that being a lawyer is that complicated, but it is a field in which lives and your personal well-being is in jeopardy if done incorrectly.
Sure. Understood.
And insurance companies best believe as soon as they insured call, they're on the ground trying to figure out what you did wrong. The Cochran firm and Radio 1 would like to thank you for joining us today. We would also like to thank All Star Barbershop for hosting us. We hope that the information that you heard today was impactful and life-changing. Remember, texting is one of those things that can wait. We hope you enjoyed yourself. God bless.